Hello and welcome to part 2 of this video series about the SAP High Availability Wizard, which is part of the System Automation for COS product. The wizard is available with all current versions of System Automation for COS, and the sample screens in this video were in fact created using version 3.5. In the first part, I showed you how to prepare and set up the wizard. Now, I want to demonstrate how the wizard is run and how it generates a policy for my SAP system HA1. I'm again logged on to COS Unix System Services and now switch to my HA Wizard demo subdirectory. You see the wizard rec script and the input parameter file for the HA1 that I created in part 1. During runtime, the wizard needs information about the SAP installation. The SAP installation procedure produces the file ascs10.conf, which I show here. You see here that I have an ABAP Central Services installation for SAP System HA1 with instance number 10. After this check, we are now ready to start up the wizard, which immediately starts to ask me some questions. Since all these datasets exist and are correct, I can just continue by entering yes for each of the questions. The wizard generates a default job card for the jobs I will start later on. If these do not fit for your installation, you need to answer no and have a file ready that contains valid job cards for your installation. Now I'm presented with a list of all SAP installations that are found on my local LPA. The wizard found a total of 5 different SAP Central Services installations on the current system. I select HA1 and see that the ascs10.conf file will be used as input for the wizard. The HA1 system has no enqueue replication server instance installed, and the wizard informs me that the policy will be generated to match this installation option. The wizard can generate more than just the policy for the SAP Central Services. It offers here to generate resources for SAP Remote Application Servers, for the SAP Web Dispatcher, or for SAP Solution Manager Diagnostic Agent. I'm answering all these questions with no because I just want the SAP Central Services policy. The source PDB contains generic LPA names of sys1 through sys3, which the wizard will substitute with the names of the 3 LPAs in our sysplex, which are COH1 through COH3. As its first action, the wizard generates a flat file report for the target PDB. This is to check if the target PDB is empty. As a next step, the policy generation is started. The policy generation is in fact an import and modify job that the wizard submits. All jobs that the wizard stars use the job cards that you saw in the beginning. Checking of the job status is only possible if the wizard has access to STSF. If jobs end with non-zero return codes, you can use the job ID of the submitted job to check what went wrong. The import and modify job has now ended, and our target PDB contains the resources for our SAP system HA1. At this stage, you could already stop the wizard and use a policy. The following 2 post-processing steps are optional, but I highly recommend to execute these steps. They will delete unnecessary resources from the target PDB and make some useful modifications to the generated policy. The first post-processing step lists a number of resources that are part of the target PDB but have no meaningful content since no input was applied for them. Since our HA1 system is ABAP only, we can safely remove any Java-related resources. For example, we chose not to generate SAP Web Dispatcher or SAP Solution Manager resources, and our installation does not contain a SAP enqueue replication instance, so these resources can also be safely deleted. For SAP Central Services, on subkernel 740 or higher, the enqueue monitor resource is a useful part of my policy. Therefore, I prevent it from being deleted by entering no. I also want subrouter resources in my policy and enter no as well. A summary of all resources that will be deleted is displayed, and I answer yes to start the actual deletion. The wizard uses the flat file update mechanism to delete the resources from the target policy. In the second post-processing step, the policy is modified to support the chosen enqueue replication mechanism and to replace the sample sysplex name sysplex1 with my current sysplex name cohplex in the policy. As one of its final actions, the wizard generates a flat file report of the final state of the target PDB. You find this report in the current directory under the file name saphatgt_mod_report.txt, and you might want to save it for further reference. The last step is just a sanity check, which produces an unlinked object report. If any SAP resources are reported here as unlinked, this would give me an indication that something went wrong during policy generation. This is not the case, so we are now ready to take a look at the generated target PDB from the customization dialog. I also use the customization dialog to make one last modification to the policy that is needed such that it can be used for my current sysplex. The sysplex entry name in the policy is still the sample sysplex1, which I'm now changing to cohplex. Let us now take a look at the generated sub-resources of type APL. In this block, you see the resources that were generated for the DB2 subsystem with 3 data sharing members on my 3 LPARs. The resource names are all prefixed with the name of my SAP system HA1. For details on the naming convention for the generated resources, see the Business Continuity Guide. The resources in this block are prefixed with sub HA1, and they are for the sub-central services of our SAP system HA1. I decided to let the wizard keep the sub-router, and here you see the 2 resources that automate it. As a last step, I'm showing you the MTR resource, which enables monitoring of the status of subs enqueue replication. With this, my target PDB is now ready to use, and I can start to import the generated sub-resources for HA1 into my productive PDB. As soon as the new resources become active in my productive PDB, I can start with the verification tests. For details, see the Business Continuity Guide. Thanks for watching, and check out our SAP on C Systems Developer Works community for latest news and updates.